about to go down.
Burning your ears with another all-killer and no-filler episode of the best motorsports radio on the planet. It's the Down and Dirty Radio Show, powered by Polaris Razor. With your host, Jim Beaver.
Sliding trophy trucks, jumping razors, and dropping the mic at events across the country.
Amy Hood.
What's up, guys? I'm a professional fun haver, dirt bike rider, and monster truck driver.
With support from Polaris Razor, General Tire, Subaru, and Dirtfish. Hang on tight, strap in, and get ready to smoke some tires and lay some roost. Here's the man who carries a steering wheel in one hand and a mic in the other. Jim Beaver.
Welcome to the Down and Dirty Radio Show, powered by Polaris Razor. We got a really epic show for you guys today, but starting things out, I've been kind of quiet about it on social media, but I thought it was something I should address. I don't want the show to be about that. We definitely steer clear of politics and things like that, but it's something that's near and dear to my heart. The tragedy that happened in Las Vegas, and I'm struggling for words here because I don't even know how to approach this. I mean, off-road, my life, I spend probably at least a month out of the year in Las Vegas. Some of my closest friends live in Las Vegas. I knew many people that were at that concert. My heart just goes out to anybody that was affected from that. I know it's weighing heavily on everybody. I didn't post on it on social media. It's one of those things where we don't know the reasoning behind why it happened. All I know is it did happen. And I think, at some point in this country, it doesn't matter if you're left or right, if you're white, black, red, orange, purple, yellow, you're straight, you're gay, you're lesbian. I love everybody. I think we all need to get to that point where we all, at least we can agree to disagree. I think, we're at a point in time in this country where, we need to sit down and have a beer and talk things out rather than to get violent and crazy. And I just don't know. But like I said, we're not going to make the show about that. This is the last you'll hear about it on this show today. We got an amazing lineup today. Kristen, Matlock, Michele, Abbate, Clay Millican, Jerett Brooks. It's going to be a fun one here on the Down and Dirty Radio Show, powered by Polaris Razor. You want extreme performance, reliability, and the most fun you can have on four wheels? The Polaris Razor brings it to you. But you don't need to take my word for it. You can take theirs.
I'm Tanner Faust, and I choose the Polaris Razor because it's the most fun you can have with a steering wheel.
What's up? I'm Ronnie Renner, and I choose Polaris Razor because it's the sickest, most reliable side-by-side on the planet.
What's up, everybody? Heavy D from Diesel Brothers. Listen, I'm on Team Razor because it's hands down the best piece of machinery on the planet.
I'm RJ Anderson, and I choose Polaris Razor because it's the most fun, most capable machine.
Action sports stars, TV personalities, and some of the best race car drivers in the world all choose Polaris Razor because it's the ultimate combination of power, suspension, agility, and fun. Find out more information on the web at PolarisRazor.com or follow at Polaris Razor on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter, and use the hashtag RazorLife to share your story. For 100 years, General Tire has provided tires for your lifestyle, your adventure, your anywhere. Born from competition, the Grabber tire offers the durability and off-road traction you demand in a tire. We put these tires to the test in the harshest off-road racing conditions to give you a tire that will make your anywhere possible. So let us take you on your next big adventure. Tweet us photos at General Tire, hashtag anywhere is possible. Because with General Tire, anywhere is possible. As certain as the sun rises and sets around the world, OTSFF Group is dedicated to providing flexible, comprehensive, and reliable transportation solutions. Air transportation, ocean freight, ground transportation, or a combination of services. We offer innovative and custom-built packages specifically designed to meet your transportation needs. OTSFF Group has been keeping shipments moving globally for nearly 2 decades. OTSFF Group, flexible logistics services designed for you. More information at OTSFF.com. DirtCSFF.com. Looking to have some fun on four wheels? Dirtfish Rally School has you covered. Packing as much adrenaline and adventure as you can handle into high-performance all-wheel drive and rear-wheel drive Subaru rally cars is where the fun begins at Dirtfish. Just 30 minutes outside of Seattle in Snoqualmie, you'll get a chance to train up to 3 full days with some of the country's best instructors and be put through the high-octane rush of rally on mud, dirt, and tarmac. Get started today and call 425-888-7715 or visit us online at dirtfish.com and use code 911 for a 15% discount.
The Subaru WRX and WRX STI, a 268-horsepower turbocharged Subaru Boxer engine, rockets the WRX around corners and down straightaways. A race-ready 305-horsepower turbocharged Subaru Boxer engine keeps the WRX STI a rally legend. The Subaru WRX and WRX STI, it's not a sibling rivalry, it's a tag team. Get the latest from Subaru Rally Team USA at Subaru.com/rally.
Thanks for tuning in to the Down and Dirty Radio Show, available live online, in syndication on networks across the U.S., and available internationally on the American Forces Network.
Welcome back to the Down and Dirty Radio Show, powered by Polaris Razor. Jim Beaver, Amy Hood here, kicking off another edition of your favorite motorsports radio show. Before we get into things, I do want to make a big announcement here. Our good friends at General Tire kicking off through the month of October, starting October 1st through Halloween, my favorite holiday. You're getting up to a $70 Visa prepaid card when you purchase 4 General Tires. You can go to their website, find out how to claim that. But $70 for, coming back to you in a gift card when you buy 4 General Tires. Can't ask for much more than that. But I don't know, big weekend, Hood. I know not a lot of motorsports going on. We've got a lot of Monster Energy Cup talk coming at us. I know Red Bull Straight Rhythm's coming. It's kind of a weird weekend. There wasn't a whole lot of racing going on. I know I made my way up to the mountains. You've got a race coming up. I know it's pretty fun to kind of have a weekend that literally could kind of catch my breath. I don't know. You kind of feeling the same way?
Yeah, a little bit. I mean, we had the nations going on, and Team USA kind of had a rough go. First time in a long time. We can talk about that later. But, a little bit of a break, but it's nice to catch up, and I got to ride my dirt bike and not worry about anything else.
It's always a good weekend when you can ride your dirt bike. I know me, I got this new Razor build that I've got going on right now. I posted a couple pictures to social media, and it's a 2-seat play car. And when I say play car, like I've got all these 4-seaters and, that you go out and cruise and do trail rides. Like this car is literally being built to launch jumps. And I'm so freaking excited about this thing. It's like, it's turning out like I decided when I built it, I'm like, I'm just going to build the absolute coolest car I want. It's actually got a trunk on it. And the trunk, you can actually pop the trunk and fill it with like beer and ice and stuff, and then it'll like melt and drip out the bottom of the car. Like it's so rad. But it's like the ultimate fun haver 2-seat Razor where you can go to the dunes of the desert and just blast jumps and have a good time with your friends. So I'm kind of in the middle of doing that. And then I also went up to the mountains and found my way to the skate park. And I got to say, I accidentally did the biggest error I've ever done on a BMX bike.
Accidentally.
Yeah, it was no joke. It scared the crap out of me. I take my daughter to the skate park. We go early so we can avoid all the kids and stuff like that. So we were literally at the skate park at 8 a.m. And, it tells you when an 8-year-old girl will get out of bed to go to the skate park, she really enjoys doing it. But they've got basically this big fun box, and it's got about a 10, 12-foot deck, and you got to get quite a bit of speed to jump it, right? So I'm pedaling this thing, and I jumped it, cleared it, and right after it, there's a big 8-foot quarter, and it's literally like there's no room to scrub speed. And I was so concentrating on jumping the fun box, I jump it, and I hit this quarter pipe with a full head of steam, and it was seriously like full blown out of the top of this 8-foot quarter air, and I haven't done that in like 15 years. And it was one of those, I'm in the air and going, oh, crap, how am I going to land this? And somehow I pulled it together and landed, and my daughter looks at me. She goes, Dad, you didn't mean to do that. And I go, no, I didn't. But I wish I would have had that one on film. That would have been, it was legit. Looked like full-blown. Like
I would like to have saw that.
Yeah, it was.
You need a GoPro.
Yeah, I've got them. I normally take them with me, and I just, it was up early and didn't have the batteries charged. I'm like, forget it. We'll just go. And so, So how was your dirt bike riding up there in Canada? It's got to start getting pretty chilly up there, huh?
Yeah, it's getting cold right now. We had our last ride of the year at our local track of Grunthal, but this weekend I'll be heading down south Saturday for that enduro race that I did last year. That's half in the woods and half on a motocross track at Fordville in North Dakota. And I'm super excited. I had so much fun. I remember because we went right before I headed out for Monster Jam, and I wanted to try something different. I wanted to, test my abilities in the bush, and it was a blast. So we're headed back down again this year, and it's an hour and a half race. But again, the cool thing is, I'm not a bush rider, but we do a lap in the woods, and then we switch and we do a lap on the motocross track, and they have it so it's kind of like a big loop. So, you got all these experienced woods riders who can make some gain on you in the woods, but then you go to the dirt bike track and, all the moto people are launching all the big jumps, and we can make ground on the moto track. So it's pretty fun. It shakes things up, and I'm excited. And I got to test out White Lightning this weekend. I know I talked about her last week, but my new, I guess, 2009 YZ 252 stroke, the thing was so awesome. I love it. I'm sorry, Black Betty, but you are getting retired, and White Lightning is coming out. So, just lots of fun getting in the last couple of rides of the year before the snow hits the ground. But, yeah, I'm excited for that race this weekend. It's pretty cool.
Yeah, it's kind of funny, too, because we talk about donations. We got Straight Rhythm coming up. We've got Monster Energy Cup. I know Endurocross kicked off, I think, over Labor Day. They just had a round this weekend. Cody Webb taking the top spot in the men. Colton Haker there in second. And then in the ladies, Casey Martinez, taking a win, and Tara Geiger coming in second. So I don't know.
Yeah.
Man, it's like we're getting in. It's like moto season now, right? Weather's getting good here in the Southwest, and I don't know. I guess the weather's getting good everywhere but Canada, right? Your guys' moto season's kind of winding down while ours is kicking up, right?
Oh yeah, absolutely. Like you guys said, you always tell me it's like 120 degrees in the summer there. Like I couldn't even imagine riding anything or even being outside in the Arizona heat in the summers like that. But our falls cool off really, really quick, as we kind of get a lot of it's pretty gloomy and cloudy and rainy, and the wind is so cold it's hard to ride dirt bikes, and even in the fall here. But this weekend's supposed to be really nice, so we kind of get these glimpses of sunshine, and that the moment it comes out, we jump on the track.
Yeah, well, and tell us, talking about jumping on the track, I know donations, that's kind of a big one. We haven't talked about it a lot, but I know, I know there's some big news coming out. Kind of bring us in the loop, because I know you've been following along.
Yeah, I mean, my family and I, we always watch out for donations. It's pretty cool. I have lots of friends in Europe, and it's cool to see, sometimes you get the U.S. riders like Dean Wilson jump on a European tour, European team, or whatnot, a couple other people. But it's always fun to see the countries battle it out. And I did make it to donations in Denver, Colorado, when they had it that year. And then next year, they're supposed to be having donations in Redbud, which is going to make for one epic race.
That's one to put on the calendar. That's one to put on the calendar.
That's going to be a cool one. But unfortunately for Team USA and Roger DeCoster actually deemed this to be the worst donations for Team USA of all time. But they've been having a rough go. It's I believe they've lost 6 straight donations championships in a row now, and this year they finished 9th. Like, I understand they had a little bit of mechanical issues, but they had 2 DNFs. It's just a really rough go for Team USA. And I mean, I was following along the day before, and their lap times were fantastic. Obviously, Zach Osborne's down there. He did finish runner-up. He was 1 point behind the 250 win. So he was our most prevalent rider. But Seeley and Covington had a struggle of a time. And, I know it's disheartening, I guess, for America. And you kind of got to think, every year Dungey's gone, they've had their best years ahead of them. So, I don't know, it's been a rough go, but it's really cool to see England on top. You know, Tommy Searle, a good friend of mine, Dean Wilson riding for them, and they pulled it out, and they had one heck of a race, and yeah, it's Team Canada. I don't even know what we finished. I think we go and we barely skin by the seat of our pants qualifying, and we don't make it too far, unfortunately. But you know, it's those European riders. Like, the tracks are so technical over there. It's a completely different riding style.
Yeah. And
I don't think Canada is really used to those types of terrains. They have these huge, gnarly tracks, and you know, the pace is so fast, and it's the top 3 riders of every country, so it's the best of the best. But it's still cool that we send a team there. Like, it's pretty honoring. I don't even know who the riders were. I haven't even looked it up. I could not believe that Team USA did not make it on the podium. That blew my mind. That's crazy.
Well, in 9th. Like, that's bad. That's bad. I mean, that's like, wow.
That's bad.
Yeah, that's, I don't know. And you know, DeCoster's just like fuming. I don't know. It's, yeah. But we got to take a short break here on the Down and Dirty Radio Show, powered by Polaris Razor. We got Kristen Matlock calling in after the break here on the Down and Dirty Radio Show, powered by Polaris Razor. I'm Polaris rider Jim Beaver. I race trophy trucks professionally, host a Down and Dirty Radio Show, and also travel the country announcing motorsports events. I've seen it all, and trust me, I've done most of it. So when it comes time to relax on the weekend, nothing is better than taking time with my family in our Razor vehicles. They've got the reliability I need to just pick up and go explore the desert, dunes, or trail, and have the capability to attack even the harshest terrain. If you're looking for some of the most reliable and safest, and hands down most capable off-road machines in the world, look no further than Polaris and their award-winning lineup of Razor vehicles. Whether you want your daughter to experience off-road driving for the first time in a Razor 170 like me, take the entire family out in a Razor XP4 1000 on the weekend, or shred the desert and dunes in the all-new Razor XP 1000 Fox Edition, Polaris has you handled. Take my advice and join me and some of the best drivers in the world by driving a Polaris Razor. Check out the full Polaris Razor lineup at Polaris.com, or follow them on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter at Polaris Razor. Are you looking for a place to push yourself behind the wheel and see how your driving skills stack up? Dirtfish Rally School is that place. Located on 315 acres of pristine automotive playground at the foot of the Cascade Mountains in Snoqualmie, Washington, right outside of Seattle, Dirtfish Rally School is a one-of-a-kind place where everyone from first-time drivers to seasoned professionals like Bucky Lassick and Antoine Lestage can push themselves to their limit. Whether driving the high-performance rally-prepped all-wheel drive Subaru Impreza STI is what you're looking for, or you'd rather hang it all out in the rear-wheel drive Subaru BRZs, Dirtfish Rally School has something for everyone. Classes are available from 2 hours to 3 full days and feature instructors with over 150 years of combined racing experience. Whether you're looking to become the best and get an edge on the competition, or just looking to freshen your skills behind the wheel, Dirtfish Rally School is the place to go. For more information on registering for classes, visit Dirtfish on the web at dirtfish.com, or to check out the latest happenings from Dirtfish, follow them on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter at Dirtfish Rally.
The Subaru WRX and WRX STI, a 268 horsepower turbocharged Subaru Boxer engine, rockets the WRX around corners and down straightaways. A race-ready 305 horsepower turbocharged Subaru Boxer engine keeps the WRX STI a rally legend. The Subaru WRX and WRX STI, it's not a sibling rivalry, it's a tag team. Get the latest from Subaru Rally Team USA at Subaru.com/rally.
Your life demands a tire that provides durability, comfort, and performance, and that's what General Tire delivers for you. From the all-season grip of the Grabber UHP to the comfort and on-road manners of the Grabber HTS to the durability and off-road traction of the Grabber AT2, General has a tire that will help get you where you need to go. So let us take you on your next big adventure. Tweet us at General Tire, hashtag anywhere is possible, because with General Tire, anywhere is possible.
You're listening to the Down and Dirty Radio Show, powered by Polaris Razor. All killer and no filler.
Welcome back to the Down and Dirty Radio Show, powered by Polaris Razor. Jim Beaver here, joined on the line by my Polaris Razor factory racing teammate, Kristen Matlock. How's everything going, Kristen?
Good. How are you, Jim?
I am doing good. I'm just excited you're here on the air live. Like, I was getting kind of nervous. I texted you last night, and I was like, I promise no technical difficulties. And then, like, I was sitting here through the first segments, and I'm like, you know what? Something's going to happen. We'll have the phone lines crash or something, and Kristen won't be on air with me. Watch. And but you're here, so I'm excited.
I know. Yeah. As soon as you sent that text, I'm like, oh, you just jinxed it.
Yeah, right. Yeah. So
yeah, it worked today.
Yeah,
we're good.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, so just you listeners, so you understand what's going on. We had Kristen on about a month and a half back. She was supposed to be on, and that was when we had a power surge here locally. The entire internet for all of town went down, and it was right before Kristen's call-in. So it was like the first time in 6 years that it happened, and it just so happened to happen on her. So we're here, we're good, and Kristen's got a lot to talk about. That's for darn sure, man. When it rains, it pours, right?
Right.
Yeah,
yeah, I've had a great last couple of races, that's for sure. I want to keep it going.
Yeah, well, I know going into this year, I mean, you hadn't really taken your first victory in the desert car yet. I mean, you've got a ton of victories on other things, but I can't remember, at some point you and I were talking, but it's like when the first one comes, you get that out of the way, then all of them come, right?
Yes, that's right. I hope it keeps going. I have two in a row, so my next big race is the Baja 1000, so if I could go 3 for 3 on that one, I would be completely ecstatic, that's for sure.
Yeah, well, in the Baja...
And I have some exciting news on that one, too, by the way.
Do you really?
I was going to... Yeah, I haven't announced it yet on social media, but yesterday I made the big decision to Ironwoman the Baja 1000 this year.
Wow.
Originally, I thought it was going to be over 1,300 miles, which would definitely be a little excessive. But on Saturday, they released the map, and it's 1,134 miles this year. And I decided that that's doable, so I'm going to go ahead and make the attempt.
Yeah. So, and here's a question. I mean, I've soloed Vegas to Reno before, and the Baja 500 and things like that. You know what I mean? But I mean, how are you?
Right.
I mean, you've done some long distance races before, but I mean, 1,100 miles. I mean, that's a legit distance. I mean, how are you? Because right now is when you got to start preparing your body for that, you know, and you've got to get into that mode. We've got a month and a half out, you know, and to be able to do that. I mean, what are you doing? You made that you've made that public now. I mean, what kind of changes are you going to make, you know, you personally to see that, you know, your body is capable of doing that here in a month and a half?
Well, I'm just going to make sure that my nutrition's spot on, because I'm a big believer that nutrition's, you know, probably 75% of it. So I'll do that. And then I contacted a personal trainer, so I'm going to get started with her this week and just see what I can do with my body in that length of time and get myself in shape.
Well,
But I'm in pretty good shape the way it is.
Yeah.
I eat really well and try to keep myself. You know, I've raced every mile that I've started. I've done solo. You know, I've never had someone else take over for me in all these races. So you know, doing that, I always have to make sure that I'm in tip-top shape to do so.
Well, and there comes a point too where, like, you know, and I, you know, I've got to the point now in my career where I usually split up driving. Well, in the Razor, Jolene and I, we team obviously, and but in the trophy truck, I'll let my brother spell me for a bit in the longer races. But there's always too, when you're a driver, there's, you know, even if it's somebody you completely trust, there's always that thing, you know, what if they clip a rock or something and you're leading and it takes the race away, you know, and it's like
Right.
part of me goes, you know, if I'm going to break, I want it to be when I'm in the car, because I know I did everything I possibly could do, and you know, and it kind of takes that away. So it's all reliant on you, you know, at this point, right?
Exactly. That's what my husband and I always say, ski races too. And we always say if something's going to go wrong, we want it to be our fault. You know, we don't want to hold a grudge against anyone else. Not that we would, but you know, we just don't want to have that feeling like, oh man, if I wouldn't have given the vehicle over to them, then maybe this wouldn't have happened. Or if it does happen, we just want it to be on us, you know. So
yeah. Well, how was that race in Tijuana that you won here about a week and a half ago? I think not last weekend, but the weekend before last. I mean, how was that? Because this was a new event. You went in, obviously you won, but the format was a little bit different, right?
Way different. I was really nervous about that one. That's probably the most nervous that I've been. couldn't sleep, and I kept myself up thinking, because it's a more short course format, and I'm so used to just kind of cruising for the first 60 miles and getting my groove set, and just a warm up 60 miles. Well, this one was, I believe, like 69 miles a day, 70 miles a day. So by the time I usually get my groove, the race is over for that. But yeah, I went into it knowing that I had to just charge right out of the gate there, and I was able to get ahead of the pack, and I won day 1 and day 2. It was a 2-day format with 2 different heats, and so it put me as the winner of the UTV Pro naturally aspirated class is what I raced, and I was also the only finisher in my class by the end. The race course was super rocky and twisty, and it took a lot of guys out, especially their machines.
Yeah.
So.
Well, that's one thing I've learned too, about UTV racing this year. It's like, and Jolene's learned that, and we've talked about it, and it's like us as racers, you want to go out there and you want to run 100%, but it's to the point now, especially in UTVs. I mean, these cars are really, really fast, but they're also, you can break them really easy if you're not careful, and there's like a finesse game, like you said. It's almost a good mindset to go in, like you said, the first 60 miles, feel things out, feel the car out. Because there's a lot of guys that aren't even going to go 60 miles anymore because they just tear their cars up, and so it's interesting that you say you were the only one to finish, because it's tough to keep these cars together for an entire race. It really is.
Right, exactly. Yeah, I think a lot of guys go out there and just charge right out of the gate all the time, and don't worry about what they hit, because you don't feel it in the car. The suspension works so well these days that you don't ever really feel it in your body, but the car's still feeling it. The little, nuts and bolts and pins and everything else underneath there are taking a huge beating, and they can only take so much. So that's kind of the game that we play out there, is just to see where that fine line is of how hard that we can hit things, and how much of a beating the cars can take, really, because like I said, you don't feel it yourself. It's all in the car these days.
Yeah. What's the biggest difference? I mean, because you raced Vegas to Reno, you've raced in Baja. I mean, what's the biggest difference in the two? I mean, how do you approach races in Mexico versus races in the United States?
With Vegas to Reno, it's set up completely different, where the pits are they're set up for everybody. You can only go to a certain area. They're set. You can't go in between and pit. Where in Baja, you can pit anywhere you want. If you have an issue 5 miles after leaving the pit, your guys can leave that pit and hurry up into you and make the repairs and keep going. Where Vegas to Reno, if you break 5 miles from the pit, you're done. Unless the best in the desert official can help you, then your race is over at that point. So I think for Vegas to Reno, I was a little bit more careful to make sure that I can make it from pit to pit, with not that I go out and not worry about it in Baja, like hitting things, but it's always a comfort knowing that your pit crew can be there at any time, at any moment for you.
Yeah.
That's the main difference. But then in Baja, you're always worried about getting hurt, especially, if you get hurt down in Baja, it's a little bit harder to get you to the United States, that's always plays a factor for sure.
Yeah, it's always, when I race down there, it's always kind of in the back of my mind. It's like you don't want to talk about it, but it's the thing that everybody knows is back there. It's like, so sometimes I feel like it's almost like, you know what I mean? It keeps me in check a bit. You don't go out there and make it because you don't want that to happen. But let's talk real quick before.
So probably between the 2 races.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Oh, no,
yeah, between the 2 races, I probably run about the same percentage, because there's a concern for each of those races. So really, I try not to race over about 75%, of my ability, unless it's towards the end of the race and I know that I've got to catch that one person, then I'll push it, as hard as I possibly can. But for these long distance races, I'm always at about 75%. being conservative.
It's like a bit Russian roulette, you know what I mean? It's like when do you go, when you don't, it's like you never know when trouble's going to strike. But before we let you go, we got about a minute and a half left, but got to ask you, big news, okay. Off-Road Hall of Fame, Impact Awards, you got nominated. How awesome is that?
Oh, I was so happy when they called the other night. I was like, really? Me? I couldn't believe it. I was just so excited because last year I saw that Sarah Price has been nominated for the same award. I'm like, oh, that's so cool because I really always look up to her. She's done some great work with the community and everything. And I just never thought, because I just started, last year, I never thought something like this would come so soon in my racing career. I definitely thought it was a possibility, going out there, winning races and trying to make an impact, with amongst females, especially in the racing community, and showing everyone that it's possible. Anyone can get out there and do it. But yeah, I just didn't think it would come this soon. So I'm so happy and honored to have been nominated for this award.
Awesome. Well, congratulations on that. Congrats on the win. I'm looking forward to seeing you solo Baja now. Good luck with that, and hopefully we get you on air after Baja to talk about this big Baja win, right?
I hope you're right. Thanks so much.
All right. Thanks a lot, Kristen. And we'll be back after this on the Down and Dirty Radio Show, powered by Polaris Razor. You want extreme performance, reliability, and the most fun you can have on four wheels? The Polaris Razor brings it to you. But you don't need to take my word for it. You can take theirs.
I'm Tanner Faust, and I choose the Polaris Razor because it's the most fun you can have with a steering wheel.
What's up? I'm Ronnie Renner, and I choose Polaris Razor because it's the sickest, most reliable side-by-side on the planet.
What's up, everybody? Heavy D from Diesel Brothers. Listen, I'm on Team Razor because it's hands down the best piece of machinery on the planet.
I'm R.J. Anderson, and I choose Polaris Razor because it's the most fun, most capable machine.
Action sports stars, TV personalities, and some of the best race car drivers in the world all choose Polaris Razor because it's the ultimate combination of power, suspension, agility, and fun. Find out more information on the web at PolarisRazor.com or follow @PolarisRazor on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter, and use the hashtag RazorLife to share your story.
Life is all about sound, the sound of sports, the sound at the racetrack, and the sound of your vehicle. Don't drive around listening to this. Drive around listening to the sound of performance. Gibson Performance. Gibson Performance Exhaust is the company who can turn this into this. Remember that life is all about sound, and Gibson Exhaust is the sound of performance. Check out your next catback exhaust system, headers, muffler, or UTV exhaust at GibsonPerformance.com and get more power and more sound.
Since 1970, KC Highlights has been designing and manufacturing performance lighting for off-road and motorsports, beginning with the legendary Daylighter up until today's revolutionary Flex, Pod, and Pro 6 lighting systems. KC Highlights offers a full line of halogen, HID, and LED lighting solutions for your off-road vehicle. Looking for the best quality lighting? Looking for the brand champions choose? You're looking for KC Highlights. Find out more information at kchighlights.com or follow them on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter at KC Highlights.
The Subaru WRX and WRX STI, a 268 horsepower turbocharged Subaru Boxer engine, rockets the WRX around corners and down straightaways. A race-ready 305 horsepower turbocharged Subaru Boxer engine keeps the WRX STI a rally legend. The Subaru WRX and WRX STI, it's not a sibling rivalry, it's a tag team. Get the latest from Subaru Rally Team USA at Subaru.com/rally.
For 100 years, General Tire has provided tires for your lifestyle, your adventure, your anywhere. Born from competition, the Grabber tire offers the durability and off-road traction you demand in a tire. We put these tires to the test in the harshest off-road racing conditions to give you a tire that will make your anywhere possible. So let us take you on your next big adventure. Tweet us photos at General Tire, hashtag anywhere is possible. Because with General Tire, anywhere is possible.
Want the latest from Jim Beaver and Amy Hood? Follow at Jim Beaver 15 and at Amy Hood 71 on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter.
Welcome back to the Down and Dirty Radio Show, powered by Polaris Razor. Jim Beaver here, joined on the line by my next guest, Michele Abbate. How's everything going, Michele?
Hey, man, it's pretty good considering the conditions. You know, being in Las Vegas, we've had a past couple tough days, but personally, I'm doing well. Thank you.
Yeah, you know, and that's one of those things. I know, you know, following you obviously on Instagram and stuff like that, I spend probably, I was opening the show, probably a good month out of the year in Vegas at least. I mean, I'm there at least once a month. You know, I've got meetings there, obviously racing, off-road. It's kind of where we go 3 or 4 times out of the year. It's just so tough. I had friends that were at that, you know, at that venue and everything else. And, you know, I opened the show and said I don't really want to talk about it, you know, a ton, you know, because of all the political background and stuff. But I did mention it. But how, you know, just real quick, I mean, how is the feeling in Vegas? I mean, it seems like everybody I know, it seems like the city's come together pretty good, right?
Yes, absolutely. We've all united, and there's just so much help. It's almost overwhelming. So it's very great to see that, and it's just I'm honored to live in our city and be born and raised here, and just so thankful for everybody that's contributed to the good efforts of the tragic incident.
Yeah, for sure. So I guess you know, I don't want to say on a lighter note, but we got to talk a little bit about you, because you are literally, I mean, you're all over the place doing a ton of stuff. I mean, what keeps you busy? I mean, you're wrenching on cars, you're driving cars. I mean, you kind of you know, it seems like you know, anything with a steering wheel you're willing to jump behind, right?
Yeah, no doubt. That's kind of what this has all evolved into. My history came from road racing. I started in autocross, worked my way up into time attack, and you know, I've been wheel-to-wheel racing for the past, I don't know, 6 or 7 years now. So, yeah, and then recently, this year, I jumped into off-road with special thanks to Rookie Motorsports and raced with them at Vegas to Reno. So, yeah, I'm kind of a diverse driver, but my discipline is definitely road racing for right now. I'm hoping to expand that into more off-roading in 2018 with Rookie Motorsports.
Yeah. Well, you know, in talking about road racing, I mean, it's kind of, we're in an interesting spot, I think, for road racing. I actually ran a poll on Facebook for like a listener poll, and I think we had like 200 respondents. And, you know, it's basically is one question: what's your favorite type of motorsport? You know, there was off-road, rally, drifting, power sports, supercross, you know, drag racing, IndyCar, NASCAR, road racing. And I was wondering, you know what I mean? I was like, I wonder how road racing is going to rank in there. And like, my mind was blown how many people actually said road racing, like they follow it on social media, they watch it on TV. Like, I didn't figure it was going to be as high as it was, and it was ranked up there higher than NASCAR. And obviously my numbers are skewed because I cater to the under 35 demo, but like, my mind was blown. I'm like, holy crap, like road racing, it's like I felt like it was making a resurgence or something. Like I mean, you know, you've been around the sport that, you know, for a long time. I mean, how are you feeling about like the current state of road racing in the US?
You know, it's funny you say that. It's very true. I think that road racing is becoming more popular, and it's exciting to see the support that the whole industry has been getting. You know, it's near and dear to my heart. It's my true passion, and yeah, it's definitely very cool how involved the community is and how much support we get. I hope to see more spectators come out to all the events that are in the U.S. for road racing, and you know, I think we need more road races in NASCAR, because I feel there's more support for those races than just the circle track races, and it would be so cool to maybe have, you know, maybe their own division that it's just merely just road racing, you know?
Yeah, well, it's funny you say that too, because like, I watch a bit of NASCAR. Obviously, I watch a Daytona 500, you know, and I'll usually watch a Coca-Cola 600 or whatever, you know, because it's the same weekend as Indy 500, and they've got, you know, the two big races there as well as Formula One. But like, really, other than that, the only NASCAR races I watch are Watkins Glen and Sonoma. And now next year, I see they're adding a third one into the chase, you know, which will be exciting. But it's funny because, like, you mentioned that NASCAR, I'm like, those are the only ones I tune in for. So I don't think I'm the only one. So I agree with you, man. It would definitely be exciting to see that. But, you know, not only that, like, you know, I just feel like the technology is so crazy in road racing. You look, like, you talk to anybody, nobody wants to go in circles. You know, anybody buys a high-end sports car or something like that, they all want to go autocross it, or they want to take it to the local track day. Like, nobody says, hey, I want to go and turn left. It's like,
right. Yeah. Exactly.
I don't know. I just feel like, it's like we've got to figure out how to package this and, and sell it to the masses. And I think, I don't know, we're starting to do a better job at it. I think it's just taking some time,
Yeah, no, definitely. And there's a lot of avenues where people can get into it in a grassroots level, and that's something that I love about the States too. Is it's actually a lot easier than people think to get involved with road racing.
Yeah. Well, tell me about your car, because I got to ask. I mean, this thing looks. I know you do a lot of the work on it yourself, which I think is super awesome. But tell me about your car, because that thing looks pretty insane.
Yeah, so we have a 2014 Toyota 86 is now what they're calling them. Ours is a Scion FRS, but it's pretty much it's a production vehicle, obviously, and we've gutted it fully. Put the spec roll cage in it. It's powered by Edelbrock. We do have a supercharger on it. We have a flex fuel kit on it, so we can run E85. Everything that you could kind of possibly do to our car, we have done. I mean, we have a fuel cell system. We totally redid the system. We have all suspension, brakes. Pretty much anything that any kind of tuner enthusiast would change is absolutely changed. And then we have our custom setups that we use at each track. But right now, it's making about like 360 horsepower, which is pretty good. I think they come with about 160 from the factory. And we've been racing this car since 2015. And it's been a blast. I come from a background of being supported by Toyota, so I'm excited to still be in one of their cars. I'm no longer factory backed, but everything is on good terms, and it's just been such a blast. We won the championship in 2015 for SCCA, and actually won the championship this year in 2017 for the Cal Club division. So just trying to keep kicking ass is where I'm at.
Yeah, well, and I know, obviously kicking ass, you say that, but I know you got involved too in this Hoonigan driver search, the female driver search, and you and my good friend Sarah Price kind of got teamed up. I mean, take us through that, because how was that? I mean, that had to have been pretty cool, and I think it brought probably some more eyes to you personally and what you're doing, right?
Yeah, definitely. The Hoonigan opportunity was huge. I was so excited to be a part of it, and I was honored to be with all the other girls that were chosen. Sarah was definitely one of my favorites. I had only ever spoken with her a little bit on social media, but we kind of connected a bit, and I really, really wanted to be paired with her, and it wasn't up to us. So it was pretty cool that it came down to just the Hoonigans deciding who goes with who, and we had such a blast. We really pulled our contacts and did our best to kind of wow everybody and do the coolest stuff we could think of. And Sarah's just such a great person, and she's very talented, and I was just so thankful to be paired up with her, and I'm super proud of her and how she adapted to kind of the road racing aspect of things, and she just handled herself so well. So yeah, I mean, the whole experience was really, really cool to get behind the Abbate. It was like just a badass car, man. It had a lot of power. It was super light. The sequential gearbox was pretty sick. And yeah, I mean, it's just been a blast, and Hoonigan's been really welcoming to all of us girls and still promotes us, and we're all kind of part of the family now, which is pretty cool.
Yeah, well, in talking about that, the sequential gearbox, your car, does your current road race car, is this standard gearbox, or is it dog box, or is it a sequential?
Well, right now it's a stock gearbox. We're working on maybe getting a sequential or a dog box in it. We do take 100-pound weight penalty if we swap that out, so I think it would be worth it, but we have to get it working properly first. So it's definitely something in the works. I also race a Legends car, and it's an FJ1200 motor, which is a sequential gearbox. It's essentially just a motorcycle engine. So I was really familiar with just the up and down shifts, and how those gearboxes work. So that would be ideal to have that in the race car for sure.
Yeah, well, that was what I was going to ask, because I know some people, like, the first time they ever drive a sequential gearbox, it's like, what is this? How do I drive this? And it's like deer in the headlights, and first time I tested GRC Lights cars, and I'd driven a sequential gearbox, but there's a couple people out there that came from different backgrounds, and they literally, it was like they had no idea how to shift that car, and it was like grinding gears, and, and I'm like, no, you got to be aggressive with this thing, you can't ease that thing. It's violent, and people don't get that. You know, it's like it's kind of interesting to see the first time they drive it. But yeah, I mean, and then like obviously you talked about that, and then you go and do Vegas to Reno. I mean, how was that? How did that whole opportunity pop up? I mean, going to the off-road side of things.
It's a pretty cool short story. Basically, I have a marketing company called Aggressive Marketing, and I create sponsorship decks for drivers. And a few years ago, I helped Rookie Motorsports create their first sponsorship deck of any kind. And that was how we initially met. Ryan McIntyre reached out to me. We helped put a proposal together for him and his team. And the name Rookie Motorsports is true to what they do. I mean, these guys just never had any experience racing and wanted to go do the Baja 1000, and with my help they did it. And yeah, a couple of years later, meaning this year, Ryan reached out to me and said, hey, would you want to come race with us? And I'm like, well, hell yeah, but I've never done anything off-road, and I said, I don't know how much I would bring to the team. And he said, no, don't worry about it, racing, and we're happy to welcome you and your husband on. And yeah, we had a blast. I mean, it was way more fun than I couldn't have ever imagined. Off-roading is just like, God, it's so raw, and you've got to just give it everything you got. And, you're out there by yourself, but the whole community, even the ones you're racing against, are there to help you if you break down. And it was just an awesome experience. We didn't do very well, but it didn't matter, man. It was so much fun.
Yeah, well, I got to say, Vegas to Reno's a tough one. We didn't do very well either. So we had a good time. We got lots of stories, though. Had a good time in the bar in Gabs, Nevada afterwards. So I don't know. It's all about the experience, though, I think, off-road. It's like the adventure of it. If you win, it's great. And we're all out there to win, don't get me wrong. But there's like the adventure aspect of it and the stories you get to tell after a big, long off-road race. Like, I don't know. They're second to none. Like, it's so rad, to be able to share that experience. And I know just like this year bringing in Jolene with me, like her first experience in desert racing, she's just like, holy crap, this is a whole different world, and it really is to flip that switch and adjust to desert racing is something that's tough. But props to you. I would be stoked to see you do some more of it next year. I think that'd be fun, man, to have you out in the desert in a UTV.
Yeah, no, definitely. We're definitely have it in the works. We're focusing on Best in the Desert, so keep an eye out on Rookie Motorsports. Of course, I'll be announcing all of our dates and things like that, but hoping to get behind the wheel and just hopefully, bring us to the finish line at least.
Yeah. So what's up next for you? Obviously, we're kind of run. The year is kind of kind of winding down. But I mean, what's up for you this year, and then in 2018?
Actually, next week I should be picking up my new race motor. So we've got a fully built motor that we're going to put in the race car. Anthony and I just pulled the motor the other day. And so we're going to make a bit more power. Hopefully we'll have a lot more reliability because for those of you that don't know, the motor internally was completely stock. So now we've got everything you could possibly change in it. Will be the first.
Hello? You there? Michele? Uh-oh. She's still on the line, but it's silent. Hello? Hey, you there, Michele?
Yeah, I'm here. I don't know what happened.
Yeah, it just cut out and went silent. You were still on the line, but it was just silent for some reason. But, yeah, you were talking about the engine. We got about a minute left. So, yeah, you were talking about, the upgraded internals now and a little bit more reliability out of it.
Yeah, so we'll be racing October 28th and 29th at Auto Club Speedway. That'll be for the Pacific Coast Road Race Championship. And then we'll also be at Super Lap Battle at Buttonwillow in November 9th and 10th. So that's what we're up to.
Awesome. Well, definitely looking forward to watching the ride there. Good luck at those. And what's your social media handle so we can have some people give you a follow and keep track of what you're doing?
Definitely. Everything is under my name, which is Michele Abbate, but it's spelled with a 1. So it's MCHELEABBATE.
Awesome. Well, thanks a lot, Michele. We'll definitely have to catch up on air a little bit more often.
Yeah, sounds good. Thank you, Jim, so much. Thank you for having me, and have a great day.
All right, you too. Thank you.
Bye.
All right, and we'll be back after this on the Down and Dirty Radio Show, powered by Polaris Razor. I'm Polaris rider Jim Beaver. I race trophy trucks professionally, host a Down and Dirty radio show, and also travel the country announcing motorsports events. I've seen it all, and trust me, I've done most of it, so when it comes time to relax on the weekend, nothing is better than taking time with my family in our Razor vehicles. They've got the reliability I need to just pick up and go explore the desert, dunes, or trail, and have the capability to attack even the harshest terrain. If you're looking for some of the most reliable and safest, and hands down most capable off-road machines in the world, look no further than Polaris and their award-winning lineup of Razor vehicles. Whether you want your daughter to experience off-road driving for the first time in a Razor 170 like me, take the entire family out in a Razor XP4 1000 on the weekend, or shred the desert and dunes in the all-new Razor XP 1000 Fox Edition, Polaris has you handled. Take my advice and join me and some of the best drivers in the world by driving a Polaris Razor. Check out the full Polaris Razor lineup at Polaris.com or follow them on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter at Polaris Razor. Do you race, or are you a weekend warrior? Have you checked on the date on your helmet recently? Don't get caught off guard by using an outdated helmet. Impact Racing, the leader in motorsport safety, has new SA 2015 helmets to fit your budget. Whether you're looking for a helmet with a full carbon fiber shell to take you to victory at the Indy 500, or just looking for some helmets for a weekend at Glamis, Impact Racing has a helmet for you. Find out more information at ImpactRaceProducts.com or on Facebook at Impact Safety. For 100 years, General Tire has provided tires for your lifestyle, your adventure, your anywhere. Born from competition, the Grabber tire offers the durability and off-road traction you demand in a tire. We put these tires to the test in the harshest off-road racing conditions to give you a tire that will make your anywhere possible. So let us take you on your next big adventure. Tweet us photos at General Tire, hashtag anywhere is possible. Because with General Tire, anywhere is possible.
Grab your girlfriends, brides-to-be, even your mum for a smoking hot night with the mates from Thunder from Down Under. That's right, ladies, the boys are back in town performing live at the Blue Water Resort Casino Saturday, October 7th. Advanced VIP tickets $35 and general admission just $25. Available now at the Blue Water Resort Casino or visit bluewaterfun.com. Must be 21 or older.
Blue Water Resort and Casino. Right on the water, right on the money.
Honey, the Blue Water Resort and Casino is giving away over $61,000 in guaranteed cash prizes. It's the crazy cash harvest.
Swipe your club card daily to receive drawing entries for the grand finale on November 25th with 3 $5,000 drawings, and one winner will win $25,000.
Plus, every Saturday, $3,500 in guaranteed cash prizes. Drawings from 2 to 6 p.m. Just see the club for details.
Blue Water Resort and Casino.
Want the latest from Jim Beaver and Amy Hood? Follow at Jim Beaver 15 and at Amy Hood 71 on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter.
Welcome back to the Down and Dirty Radio Show, powered by Polaris Razor. And I have some good breaking news for you guys listening in. Razor Star Car Vegas to Reno video with myself, Jolene Van Vught, and Travis Pastrana. Been teasing it for weeks. Guess what? It is dropping. That's right. It is dropping here in about 20, 30 minutes, I believe. Might be 10:15, 10:30, I think it's dropping on my Facebook page. So head over to, it's at Jim Beaver 15 on Facebook, and that Vegas to Reno Razor Star Car video is going to be dropping, and I'm definitely looking forward to that one. It's one I've been wanting to get out there in the wild for quite some time, so make sure and check that out over on my social media. Share it, like it, watch it, make sure and share it. I'm trying to get this one to go viral. The last couple, I don't know, we're at close to 1 million views with all of our videos so far, so I think this is probably one of our best ones yet. Obviously, finishing the UTV Worlds was a big deal, but this video, one of my favorite ones. You guys are going to enjoy it. It's about 5 minutes long, so definitely go and check it out on my Facebook page here in about 20, 30 minutes. I'll keep reminding you throughout the hour. But yeah, it's definitely going to be a good one. You guys are going to love it. And while you're at it, go over to iTunes and please subscribe to the Down and Dirty Radio Show and subscribe to my other show, Project Action. Subscribe to them both, rate and review as well. And if you leave those ratings, reviews, and leave your Twitter, Instagram @username in the review, I'll follow you back on social media. And we'll be back after this on the Down and Dirty Radio Show, powered by Polaris Razor. Want extreme performance, reliability, and the most fun you can have on four wheels? The Polaris Razor brings it to you. But you don't need to take my word for it. You can take theirs.
I'm Tanner Faust, and I choose the Polaris Razor because it's the most fun you can have with a steering wheel.
What's up? I'm Ronnie Renner, and I choose Polaris Razor because it's the sickest, most reliable side-by-side on the planet.
What's up, everybody? Heavy D from Diesel Brothers. Listen, I'm on Team Razor because it's hands down the best piece of machinery on the planet.
I'm RJ Anderson, and I choose Polaris Razor because it's the most fun, most capable machine.
Action sports stars, TV personalities, and some of the best race car drivers in the world all choose Polaris Razor because it's the ultimate combination of power, suspension, agility, and fun. Find out more information on the web at PolarisRazor.com or follow @PolarisRazor on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter, and use the hashtag RazorLife to share your story.
Thanks for tuning in to the Down and Dirty Radio Show, available live online, in syndication on networks across the U.S., and available internationally on the American Forces Network.
Welcome back to the Down and Dirty Radio Show, powered by Polaris Razor. Jim Beaver here, getting ready to kick off hour number 2, and it is going to be one hell of a fun lineup in hour number 2. Obviously, my friend Joe Duncan in that Optimus Terracross segment. That's coming up next. But then we got the man, the myth, the legend, Mr. Clay Millican. He's calling in, talking about his record-setting run this weekend in NHRA. And we'll probably talk about his very first win ever in NHRA, here earlier this year. So looking forward to having Clay on the air. He's also a Razor aficionado. And then my General Tire teammate, Jerett Brooks, he's coming on as well. So lots coming at you in this hour. Don't forget to go over and check out Facebook and our brand new Razor Star Car video that is dropping today. It's at Jim Beaver 15 on Facebook. Make sure and like it, watch it, share it, and tell me what you guys think. But it was one hell of a fun run we had there at Vegas Torino with Jolene Van Butte, Travis Pastrana, and I in the Star Car. So looking forward to getting that one out in the wild. But this past weekend, man, Off-Road Expo firing on all cylinders there in Southern California. This thing, I've been going to it every single year. This first one I think I've ever missed. But Off-Road Expo, it was firing up. It was definitely a good show. Score, basically debuting their map for the 50th anniversary Baja 1000 there at the Off-Road Expo. Make sure and go over to scoreinternational.com, score-international.com, and you guys can check that map out. But just a grueling Baja 1000 that's on tap for next month. I mean, we just had Kristen Matlock though, saying, hey, she's going to Iron Woman the thing. It's pretty damn exciting, really. If anybody can do it, Kristen can. Definitely looking forward to watching that story play out. And then Dust to Glory 2 looks like that's that long-awaited movie, sequel to Dust to Glory, amazing flick. You should check it out on iTunes. I know it's downloadable there, but it is. We got some release dates for that, so all that information is available on Score's website as well. So big weekend for Score at the Off-Road Expo, making a lot of announcements. In regards to the Baja 1000 and 2018 and that new Dust to Glory movie. So we're going to take a short break. We come back. Joe Duncan from Terracross. He's on the line in our Optimus Terracross segment here on the Down and Dirty Radio Show, powered by Polaris Razor. I'm Polaris rider Jim Beaver. I race trophy trucks professionally, host a Down and Dirty radio show, and also travel the country announcing motorsports events. I've seen it all, and trust me, I've done most of it. So when it comes time to relax on the weekend, nothing is better than taking time with my family in our Razor vehicles. They've got the reliability I need to just pick up and go explore the desert, dunes, or trail, and have the capability to attack even the harshest terrain. If you're looking for some of the most reliable and safest and hands down most capable off-road machines in the world, look no further than Polaris and their award-winning lineup of RZR vehicles. Whether you want your daughter to experience off-road driving for the first time in a RZR 170 like me, take the entire family out in a RZR XP4 1000 on the weekend, or shred the desert and dunes in the all-new RZR XP 1000 Fox Edition, Polaris has you handled. Take my advice and join me and some of the best drivers in the world by driving a Polaris RZR. Check out the full Polaris RZR lineup at Polaris.com or follow them on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter at Polaris RZR. Your life demands a tire that provides durability, comfort, and performance, and that's what General Tire delivers for you. From the all-season grip of the Grabber UHP to the comfort and on-road manners of the Grabber HTS to the durability and off-road traction of the Grabber AT2, General has a tire that will help get you where you need to go. So let us take you on your next big adventure. Tweet us at General Tire, hashtag anywhere is possible, because with General Tire, anywhere is possible.
The Subaru WRX and WRX STI, a 268-horsepower, turbocharged Subaru Boxer engine, rockets the WRX around corners and down straightaways. A race-ready 305-horsepower turbocharged Subaru Boxer engine keeps the WRX STI a rally legend. The Subaru WRX and WRX STI, it's not a sibling rivalry, it's a tag team. Get the latest from Subaru Rally Team USA at Subaru.com/rally.
Looking to have some fun on four wheels? Dirtfish Rally School has you covered. Packing as much adrenaline and adventure as you can handle into high-performance all-wheel drive and rear-wheel drive Subaru rally cars is where the fun begins at Dirtfish. Just 30 minutes outside of Seattle in Snoqualmie, you'll get a chance to train up to 3 full days with some of the country's best instructors and be put through the high-octane rush of rally on mud, dirt, and tarmac. Get started today and call 425-888-7715 or visit us online at dirtfish.com and use code 911 for a 15% discount.
Honey, the Blue Water Resort and Casino is giving away over $61,000 in guaranteed cash prizes. It's the Crazy Cash Harvest.
Swipe your club card daily to receive drawing entries for the grand finale on November 25th with 3 $5,000 drawings, and one winner will win $25,000.
Plus, every Saturday, $3,500 in guaranteed cash prizes. Drawings from 2 to 6 p.m. Just see the club for details.
Blue Water Resort and Casino.
Like what you hear? Catch all the back episodes of the Down and Dirty Radio Show on Apple Podcast, and be sure to rate, review, and subscribe.
Welcome back to the Down and Dirty Radio Show, powered by Polaris RZR. This is our Terracross Starts with Optimus segment, brought to you by our friends and partners over there at Optimus Starters, starting every Polaris RZR in the Terracross Championship. Welcome to the line, Joe Duncan. How's everything going, my friend?
Oh, Jim Beaver. We're back, finally back in Minnesota. Been traveling California, Aspen, California, back home for a change.
Yeah, so you actually live in Minnesota then. I would have never known. You're never there.
Well, look who's talking, buddy. Look who's talking. I see you at all these places, too.
Yeah, exactly, right? Yeah. It's like I tell people, I do have a wife and daughter. And everybody's like, what, you do? I'm like, yeah, I do have a wife and daughter.
I saw some great posts of her driving a little RZR.
Oh, she loves that RZR 170. I think she's going to start racing next year, so she's pretty amped up.
So we're working on some youth stuff there, Jim Beaver.
She's going to have to start traveling with me.
Terracross youth.
Yeah. So speaking of that, I know you were just out at the Off-Road Expo. I mean, you were Sand Sports Show, Off-Road Expo, man. It's trade show season, right? We got SEMA coming up, Camp RZRs. We got all kinds of stuff happening. I mean, it's things are starting to ramp up for 2018 for me, for you, for Terracross, for everybody.
Yeah, I mean, I think with last show we were on, we announced our partnership with Bonaire Corp and the family events, which has turned out to be what an awesome group of people, just amazing. And that's the 4-wheel jamborees, Ohio, Pennsylvania, and Indy. We'll have Terracross that next year with our CBS Sports Network television, and then we're working on an event out west for the championship. And one of the reasons I was out there, the Bonaire Group owns Sand Sports Show, Off-Road Expo, Arizona Off-Road Expo, and so we've been doing some scheming and some planning and working on some ideas for the future. And what two amazing shows! I was able to get to Pennsylvania this year out east, and then I got to go to both Sand Sports Show and Pomona Off-Road Expo, and what amazing shows. Being from Minnesota, we have snowmobile shows, or used to have snowmobile shows like that back in the day, but to go out and check that stuff out, and the great vendors and partners that are on board with those. The Lucas Oil experience demo track they had there was so cool, and I've never seen a show, off-road show, quite like that. So super excited to get out there and check all that out and look at some of the future opportunities down the road, and had some great meetings out there. We've got some potential partners. Some are actually coming on board already for 2018, and then a bunch more potential partners that are super excited to have the Terracross racing coming to the four-wheel jamborees and hitting something up out west for 2018.
Yeah, well, and I know we're still obviously 2018 is going to be an epic year for Terracross. We're still in 2017, got the first round under our belts. I know we got some TV. Lucas Oil was out there, filming for Heydays. I mean, what's the TV schedule look like for this year for Terracross? I know we've already got some dates set, right, for the preview show and then Heydays.
Yeah, we'll actually have that out, I think, this week, and we get to release all the air dates. It starts October 29th with the preview show, and then rocks right through the first of the year, I think, or December 31st, whatever that Sunday is there. We have shows that go all the way through that time frame, and it's every Sunday afternoon, and then re-airs on those Sunday nights and throughout that week. So yeah, pretty cool schedule, back to back, and we're all set to get those shows being aired.
Yeah, well, and I know, obviously I've actually had some fans write in, and I know that with the hurricanes and things like that, we had the one round in North Carolina that's coming up this weekend that had to get delayed, but I know we're going to have an announcement here within the next couple of days on round 3 and 4 for the Terracross Championship, right?
Yeah, round 3 and 4. Lots of hoops to jump through and moving stuff around and making sure racers and sponsors and TV is available, but I think we've got that figured out, and we're waiting on a couple of other commitments to come through in the week here, and then hopefully be able to make that announcement this week, and get hotel rooms lined up and get ready for some racing. So pretty pumped to try and get that get this 2017 season wrapped up with some championships. There's some pretty interesting people leading the points out there in Terracross, you being one of them.
Yeah, right.
Where did that come from? You leading the points in the Celebrity X class.
You never would have thought you would see that a couple years ago after my crash in San Diego, right? You would have been like, there's no way this guy's ever going to lead the points in anything.
I was thinking in eternity, Jim, but that's just me in eternity that you'd ever be leading the points, but congratulations, and it's awesome to see, and super excited about kind of how the points championships are coming out, and the shootout battles between the women and the men, and the XPs versus the turbos, and just excited to get this season in the books. And 2018 having dates already in place, schedule of events in place, a great partner and Family Events and Bon Air Corp, and looking forward to the season coming up, and the people that are either emailing or social media contacting us. about racing next season after that press release went out is pretty awesome, the response that we're getting. And we've got some TV guys, some more X Games guys. I got an email yesterday, another X Games athlete and a sponsor coming on board for next year. And we'll see where this all plays out. But I think by January 1st, we'll pretty much have our classes all filled up and ready to go racing.
Awesome, man. Well, I'm definitely looking forward to it, Joe. Always fun catching up with you here in this Optimus Terracross segment. But we'll definitely chat soon. Looking forward to those big announcements coming out this week.
Did I see you have Clay Millican on today as well?
Yes, he's actually on in the next segment. I know he's got Terracross victory under his hat at one point in time, right?
Yeah, I've had our Terracross experience at BIR here in Minnesota. Him and Ron Capps did a head-to-head battle thanks to BC Vaught getting that all set up and able to bring those two together. And those two went head-to-head out on a mini Terracross course. And Clay pulled it up.
What's that? You there, Joe? Hello? You there, Joe? It looks like he dropped. He's driving in the car, you can tell, but always fun catching up with Joe Duncan. Yeah, Clay Millican and Ron Capps there at Terracross Experience at Brainerd International had a heck of a battle there, and I'm looking forward to catching up with Clay in the next segment and having a chat with him on that for sure. Ron Capps, he's no joke either. That's going to be fun. But Clay, he's definitely a Polaris Razor guy through and through. You look at him on social media; he's definitely worth the follow on Instagram. He's always shredding razors and jumping them and sending it. So it's going to be a fun interview coming up next here on the Down and Dirty Radio Show, powered by Polaris Razor. So we're going to take a short commercial break. We come back. It's Clay Millican on the line here on your favorite Action Motorsports Radio Show. For 100 years, General Tire has provided tires for your lifestyle, your adventure, your anywhere. Born from competition, the Grabber tire offers the durability and off-road traction you demand in a tire. We put these tires to the test in the harshest off-road racing conditions to give you a tire that will make your anywhere possible. So let us take you on your next big adventure. Tweet us photos at General Tire, hashtag anywhere is possible. Because with General Tire, anywhere is possible. Want extreme performance, reliability, and the most fun you can have on four wheels? The Polaris Razor brings it to you. But you don't need to take my word for it. You can take theirs.
I'm Tanner Faust, and I choose the Polaris Razor because it's the most fun you can have with a steering wheel.
What's up? I'm Ronnie Renner, and I choose Polaris Razor because it's the sickest, most reliable side-by-side on the planet.
What's up, everybody? Heavy D from Diesel Brothers. Listen, I'm on Team Razor because it's hands down the best piece of machinery on the planet.
I'm RJ Anderson, and I choose Polaris Razor because it's the most fun, most capable machine.
Action sports stars, TV personalities, and some of the best race car drivers in the world all choose Polaris Razor because it's the ultimate combination of power, suspension, agility, and fun. Find out more information on the web at PolarisRazor.com or follow at Polaris Razor on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter, and use the hashtag RazorLife to share your story.
The Blue Water Resort and Casino is giving away over $61,000 in guaranteed cash prizes. It's the Crazy Cash Harvest.
Swipe your club card daily to receive drawing entries for the grand finale on November 25th with 3 $5,000 drawings, and one winner will win $25,000.
Plus, every Saturday, $3,500 in guaranteed cash prizes. Drawings from 2 to 6 p.m. Just see the club for details.
Blue Water Resort and Casino.
The Subaru WRX and WRX STI, a 268-horsepower, turbocharged Subaru Boxer engine, rockets the WRX around corners and down straightaways. A race-ready 305-horsepower turbocharged Subaru Boxer engine keeps the WRX STI a rally legend. The Subaru WRX and WRX STI, it's not a sibling rivalry, it's a tag team. Get the latest from Subaru Rally Team USA at Subaru.com/rally.
Looking to have some fun on four wheels? Dirtfish Rally School has you covered. Packing as much adrenaline and adventure as you can handle into high-performance all-wheel drive and rear-wheel drive Subaru rally cars is where the fun begins at Dirtfish. Just 30 minutes outside of Seattle in Snoqualmie, you'll get a chance to train up to 3 full days with some of the country's best instructors and be put through the high-octane rush of rally on mud, dirt, and tarmac. Get started today and call 425-888-7715 or visit us online at dirtfish.com and use code 911 for a 15% discount.
Thanks for tuning in to the Down and Dirty Radio Show, available live online, in syndication on networks across the U.S., and available internationally on the American Forces Network.
Welcome back to the Down and Dirty Radio Show, powered by Polaris Razor. I'd like to welcome my next guest to the line, Clay Millican. How's everything going, my friend?
I tell you what, it is a good day. How are you doing today?
I am definitely doing well. I know we just actually had Joe Duncan on the line before your segment. He says you got to ask Clay about his run against Ron Capps in the Terracross Experience. He says Clay got the best of Capps. So I said, well, we gotta open up with that, I guess.
Well, that was a fun deal. We did that at Brainerd out in the fan area called the Zoo. Joe and the Terracross guys put up a pretty cool little track, and you know we got out there and battled away a little bit. I led that whole thing against Capps, and on the last lap I swung a little wide, and he got under me. And coming up to the finish line, you know, for the final lap, he definitely got by me. And as he crossed that finish line, I seen him fist pumping. I'm like, hey, we got one more lap to go. Well, when you landed off that tabletop, set a whoop section, and then a big bank turn. Well, I am a country boy, live in the South, watched a lot of NASCAR, and these Razors we were in were brand new, you know, and I seen Capps hit the brakes, and very much like the NASCAR guys, I knew 8 wheels are better than 4, so I used him, you know, I used him up, body slammed him, got around him, and pretty much took the win, you know. And of course, Capps laughed about it. He's like, hey, I didn't realize this was a full contact sport we were out there doing. But yes, I have not let Ron forget about that. I did beat him, and there was no rematch.
Yeah, well, I think we need a rematch, man. I think we need a rematch for sure. Oh, too funny. Yeah, well, that's what's funny because, you know, I know at one point John Forrest, this was years ago when they used to have the IROC series, and he was really vocal about it. He's like, hey, we're drag racers, but he's like, we can turn left and right too. He's like, you ought to let me in the IROC series. He's like, I want to race. You know, and it's funny because you're talking about that. Well, we're just using a little bank. You guys like to do a little more than going straight lines, right?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, if you've ever watched me drive the Top Fuel car, I rarely go straight anyway. I mean, I know that's what we're supposed to do. Hey, what? If we wiggle around a little bit, that just makes it more fun. You know, scoot it over there by the wall, whatever you got to do to get it down through there. But, you know, it would I don't know how Force would do in the IROC series, but I bet you in the talking contest he'd win that amongst everybody.
Yeah, well, that is no doubt, man. He is, he's definitely Mr. Charisma. It was funny because I had Courtney Force on air here about a couple of weeks ago, and to hear her stories about her dad, I think they just shake their heads half the time, like, man, what
Oh, they got to. I mean, you know, he's a wild man, and I call him, he's the Elvis of our sport, no doubt about it. You know, that guy's been there, done that, done it all, and he's still a bad dude. I mean, he just makes it happen, you know, that's for sure. I wish he would get himself in a Top Fuel car because I'd love to race him. There ain't no doubt about that.
Yeah, well, I got to say, though, you know, you want to talk about being a bad dude. I mean, you this past weekend, all-time record, I mean, the fastest pass, right? I mean, that's saying something right there, Clay. I mean, you know, how did that get put together?
I mean, you know, it's I don't want to say I've been like Babe Ruth calling my shot, but for the last couple races, I knew this thing was on the edge of, you know, of running the quickest pass in history of drag racing, which is nuts for me to think that our little team could do that. You know, we're racing these gigantic, I call them factory teams, you know, if you put it in motocross terms. These guys, you know, they've got multi-car teams, and I'm sitting in our race shop right now. We're in a little bitty town in McLeansboro, Illinois, little bitty place, but we go out there, you know, the last few weeks our car's been just absolutely hauling butt, and I thought, you know, we might set the record in Reading, Pennsylvania a couple weeks ago, but it was too hot. You know, we come into St. Louis, I did some media stuff, and I told everybody, Friday night we're going to set the record. That might have been more talking than believing it, but I said we were going to do it, and Friday night when I stomped on the loud pedal of that thing, it picked the front end up, leaves, goes a little bit to the right. When the front end finally comes down, I'm a little closer to the wall than I would like to be, but I'm like, hey, this thing still got traction. It's still going straight. And it absolutely was ripping. 3.63 seconds, 330 miles an hour, making us the quickest car of all time. I mean, it's just crazy. If you think about those numbers, that is 100 miles an hour in less than 1 second, 200 miles an hour at 2 seconds, 300 miles an hour at 3 seconds, and 3.63 seconds, 330 miles an hour. I mean, the acceleration is unlike anything I've ever done. I mean, I've got to do a lot of cool stuff, and I always am trying to find something that's close, but I've never found anything like it. Unfortunately, it takes a lot of money to do it, and you can't just go do it for fun, but it is fun. I absolutely love stomping on the loud pedal of, 10, 11,000 horsepower, whatever you want to call these things. There is just nothing like them on the planet.
Yeah, well, that being said, you talk about all this, and then part of me wonders, you set this record, and you're going these speeds, and makes me wonder back a few years if you guys were still going a quarter mile, what you guys would be doing at the end of the quarter. Part of me just wonders in the back of my head, I'm like, I wonder how fast these guys would be going.
I mean, it's no telling. I mean, when they shortened the racetrack from, quarter mile, which is 1,320 feet, to 1,000 feet, they were doing that to slow us down a little bit. A lot of the racetracks we go to have been around for a long time, and we simply don't have room to slow down, But, man, I'm like you. How fast could they go? I mean, it's just no telling. It's got to be, 350 miles an hour. Who knows? I don't know. Somebody could figure it out. I don't know, but I wish they'd give us the opportunity. I'd like to give it a go.
Yeah, like build, even if it was just a one-off, just for fun, and build a long runoff, you know what I mean? And that way you guys had plenty of room, safety wasn't the issue. I think it'd be a ton of fun to see what you guys were able to do, just once, just to see, because I think there's a lot of us in the back of our mind wonder,
Oh, yeah. I would love to do it, but I suspect there's probably a team owner and a crew chief that would be shaking their head. No, that's not happening because, they build these things where, I don't want to say they're maxed out at a quarter mile, but what they do have, and it's NHRA mandated, is the ignition system on these things actually starts taking timing away as they approach the finish line to slow them down.
Okay.
So, that would have to be taken out of the equation to run at a quarter mile because the motors do not like when you start taking all that timing out, running that kind of RPM towards the finish line. But, I would love to do it. It would be one awesome ride.
Yeah. Well, and I got to ask, talking about an awesome ride, I mean, obviously, you had this amazing record. You're having one hell of a year, buddy. I mean, you had this amazing record you set this weekend, but go back a couple of months. I mean, you got your very first ever NHRA Top Fuel win. I mean, how was that? That had to feel pretty damn good. I mean, I know it was an emotional roller coaster for you. That had to have been a good monkey to get off your back as well.
It really was. I spent a lot of years racing in the IHRA series, which is, just a different series than the NHRA, and I won, 6 straight world championships, 50-something Top Fuel races. And when I finally made the move to NHRA full-time, it was like, okay, we'll win some, but I just got on a streak of runner-up finishes. I was coming up on a record that I didn't want, and that was the most runner-ups. I didn't want that record. I didn't want a record for the most runner-ups, but I mean, it's crazy for as much as I won in the IHRA, how long it took to finally get a win in the NHRA. But, it was movie script perfect. Mom always tells me things happen when they're supposed to, and it was. I mean, if you think about, or if you don't know, some of the history behind what's happened with me over the years, this, that, and other. I'm a Tennessee boy, and, Bristol is where I won at, and that was my home state race, and, I lost my son Dalton a couple years ago, and we won Father's Day, so it was definitely a very emotional day, to win in my home state and to win on Father's Day. It was definitely a special event that I will never, ever forget. It was meant to be. It was literally, if you wrote a movie, that's how it would have been written. All those runner-ups, all those years of trying, and to finally get it done, on a day that, to be honest, I had really got to where I just assumed never came around. I love my daddy. He's still kicking. I love my son, Cale, my oldest boy. But Father's Day had, certainly changed for me, and it's still changed. But that was a pretty cool deal. It really was. It was just like Dalton gave me a Father's Day present himself, and said, "Hey, Father's Day's still okay."
Yeah,
it was cool.
That's awesome. That
is a great story.
Yeah, and I think all of us, when I was watching that on TV when it happened, I think there wasn't one person that didn't get choked up, and especially, afterwards. It was definitely one of those special moments, you know what I mean? I think in motorsports that we get every once in a while, and I think that was definitely one of them, Clay. But I got to switch gears here a bit because Amy and I, this is something we like doing. But you are a big Razor fan, man, and I know Polaris. I was talking to Craig Scanlon from Polaris last night on the phone. We were texting, and he goes, "You got Clay on?" He's like, "Man, he loves his Razors," and I laugh, because here's the COO of Polaris, and he knows all about you and your Razors, man. But how did you get bit by the Razor bug?
Well, Dalton was a motocrosser. He was an ATV national champion, won the 450A class, and so I spent a lot of time going to the motocross races. Not nearly as much as Donna, as my wife and his mama did, but man, we spent a lot of time at the motocross track, and we finally bought us an 800 Razor, and when I would take Dalton to practice, during the week, he would ride a moto, and then when he was in between motos, I was out there on our 800 just trying to jump every possible thing I could. And I might mention that being a professional race car driver, I might have had a contract that said not to be riding four-wheelers, but it didn't say I couldn't be in a cage with seatbelts on and a helmet on, out there jumping tabletops. So
exactly.
So I definitely hammered our poor 800, and so fast forward a little bit, Hyper Wheels, after we lost Dalton, they built a Dalton wheel. It's a DM Forge wheel, and man, the Turbo 1000s had come out, and I did this backwards. I actually got a set of the Hyper, wheels, Dalton wheel, and then I went and bought a Razor to fit them, but Polaris and a bunch of guys, man, I would have to just start naming a whole huge group of guys. Hyper sent me to Glamis to do a photo shoot, and I actually sent you a picture of that last night, when you asked me to come on. So I got to spend just a very short amount of time at Glamis, and I was riding Dave Kuski, Fullerton Sand Sports. I was riding his vehicle. Since we're talking Razors, I'm not saying what it was, but so I was like, man, this desert stuff's cool, but I had no idea. All this cool group of guys that are in the aftermarket industry, builds, roll cages, all the stuff. Well, Polaris and all these guys got together, and they built a Razor and gave to me and Donna. It is 100% decked out. If you can go on my Twitter right now and you can see it. I just shot a little video for Traxxas, and you can see this Razor. This thing is freaking awesome. I love it, and I'm bad about not riding it as much as I should because I like keeping it nice and clean. And in Tennessee, it's not like exactly the desert. I go ride in the river bottoms, go down to a place called Sugar Creek, and I get it dirty, and I'll spend as much time cleaning it as I do riding it. But boy, do I have a blast! I do love my Polaris Razor.
Awesome.
I've got two of them. I got a his and hers.
I like your style, man. Well, I appreciate the time, Clay. We're running short on time here in the time slot, but I'd love to catch up again sometime on air, man. It was a ton of fun having you, my friend.
Anytime, brother, anytime. And we got to get together and go Razor riding, no doubt about it.
Absolutely. We're going to have to get you out here in the desert this off season. We'll figure it out. We'll definitely make some time to go out and ride. I got a shop full, so you're more than welcome to come out anytime you want.
Game on, brother. Thank y'all for having me on. I appreciate it. I'd love to come on anytime you want me.
All right. Thank you, Clay.
See you guys.
See ya. All right. That was Clay Millican. We'll be back after this on the Down and Dirty Radio Show, powered by Polaris Razor. I'm Polaris rider Jim Beaver. I race trophy trucks professionally, host a Down and Dirty radio show, and also travel the country announcing motorsports events. I've seen it all, and trust me, I've done most of it, so when it comes time to relax on the weekend, nothing is better than taking time with my family in our Razor vehicles. They've got the reliability I need to just pick up and go explore the desert, dunes, or trail, and have the capability to attack even the harshest terrain. If you're looking for some of the most reliable and safest, and hands down most capable off-road machines in the world, look no further than Polaris and their award-winning lineup of Razor vehicles. Whether you want your daughter to experience off-road driving for the first time in a Razor 170 like me, take the entire family out in a Razor XP4 1000 on the weekend, or shred the desert and dunes in the all-new Razor XP 1000 Fox Edition, Polaris has you handled. Take my advice and join me and some of the best drivers in the world by driving a Polaris Razor. Check out the full Polaris Razor lineup at Polaris.com or follow them on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter at Polaris Razor.
You're listening to the Down and Dirty Radio Show, powered by Polaris Razor. All killer and no filler.
Welcome back to the Down and Dirty Radio Show, powered by Polaris Razor. Jim Beaver, Amy Hood here, joined on the line by my General Tire teammate, Jerett Brooks. How's everything going, JB?
Hey, what's up, Jim? Not much, just doing my daily parts run. Racing 2 trucks, having our shop up in Temecula. I'm constantly running parts, so it's a lot of work, but I guess it pays off.
Yeah, it's one of those things. How many trips a week do you make to CarTech, right? You just pull up the box truck and start loading stuff in there.
Yeah, straight up. It's mostly like all the parts come out of my trailer. So I'm down in San Diego, and I probably make four trips up here a week, just running back and forth if they need something, if I need to load some stuff up in the trailer. So I'm almost used to the drive now. It's not too bad.
Yeah, I know it's one of those things when I call CarTech, they always go, hey, the first thing they do before you ask your names, when you call on the phone, they go, have you ever ordered from us before? And I laugh. I'm like, I've built like 5 race cars from your place.
Yeah.
But
straight up, it's crazy how much goes into it.
Yeah, it's nuts. But yeah, I mean, how's everything been with you, man? Obviously, Lucas kind of winding down. I know we got one more event coming up here. I think Phoenix, right, to cap things off. But you're having a hell of a year.
Yeah, we're having a pretty good year. We got one more race left. So we go to Arizona. We have I think it's round 16 on Saturday, and then we have the Challenge Cup on Sunday, which is pretty much just an all-out race, Pro 2 versus Pro 4 for I think $30,000 and Pro Light, just everything on the line for $10,000. So the season's been a tough year. Racing 2 trucks has really been a lot of work for me and my team. I don't think we were ready for it, but it's gone good so far. I mean, we come to the track, we're a pretty small team, but we're just getting it done.
Yeah, and that's the thing, it's like you've got some of these teams that are just massive, but I mean, how big of an undertaking is it going to 2 trucks? I mean, running 2 trucks full time, you know what I mean, in Pro Light and Pro 2. I mean, both from a driver standpoint, but both your crew, I mean, they got to be super, super busy,
Yeah, I got about 4 guys. So I got John Hoffman, my crew chief, Daniel, which has been at John's shop for a few years. And then we got Nick. He also works at the shop. And we have Nacho that also works at the shop. So all the guys that come to the races all work at the shop. So they all know pretty much how everyone works together. And it's a small crew for 2 trucks. I mean, most guys have at least 4 trucks for a Pro 2, and we got 4 trucks for a Pro 2 and a Pro Light.
Yeah, that's That's just crazy, man. But, I mean, how has that been driving, jumping back and forth? I mean, Pro 2 to Pro Light and vice versa. I mean, you have to change up your driving style at all. I mean, I think, never really have driven a Pro Light in racing. It seems like that would be more of like a momentum thing, right? You know what I mean? Where if you make a mistake, you don't have the horsepower to bail yourself out, and it costs you, the next straightaway or something like that. I mean, how is it for you jumping back and forth between the two trucks?
Yeah, the racing two trucks is pretty tough. I'm actually probably better in my Pro Light when I go to the short tracks, just because my Pro Light's more like a go-kart, is how I like to explain it. It's super light, and it turns really good how I want it to. And then the Pro 2 on a short track, it's really hard to get the thing to turn because you have to throw it in like a sprint car. It's so heavy that trying to get it around the small tracks is really tough. But then when we go to the bigger tracks, the Pro 2 is just way easier to drive just because it flows a little better. But the Pro Light on the bigger tracks, you got to keep the momentum up, which really throws me off when I go to the big tracks. I pretty much throws me off on everything. But the smaller tracks, I can kind of just focus on my Pro Light and just try to get my Pro 2 around the track.
Yeah. Well, I know, Pro 2, though, you had to have been pretty awesome, at the beginning of the year to start off, this Pro 2 season, your rookie season in Pro 2 with that win. I mean, that just doesn't happen, man. That had to feel pretty damn good for you and the team to be able to knock that out right away this year.
Yeah, it was a big confidence booster for me was really the main thing. And from there, we just stayed humble and just kept going from there. I mean, since that first win, I really haven't been that fast yet from there besides in Mexico. But we've had a few breaks this year, and I mean, for my rookie season, it's gone a lot better than we thought it was. We just really wanted to just get our feet wet and just see how it would go. But I'm pretty pumped. This off season, we're just gonna have one truck next year, so we're really gonna put everything in the Pro 2 and really do a lot of testing and try to come out swinging for wins every race.
Yeah, well, and I think for you guys too, I mean, having this 1 year down, now next year you're going to a one truck team, but you came into this year, you really didn't know as far as setups go, and you didn't have really any notes or anything to work off of, you know what I mean, for a Pro 2. Now going into next year, you're going to have those notes for all these tracks. You're going to know what what you're expecting, and you're going to have a baseline. So I think it's definitely going to be a good year for you guys next year. Just knowing that you've got all that experience from the Pro 2 in the bag to rely on next year.
Yeah, for sure. Coming to this year, we were a little behind on everything. Really didn't have much spares, so we were filling up our spares, and just we've learned so much from going to each track and going to the short tracks to the big tracks on gearing, because trying to get traction in the Pro 2 is a pretty hard thing. Even though I got my Generals, General Tire's been working their butts off to give me a good tire this whole year, but it's still really hard to get traction in those things compared to my Pro Light, where I can pretty much just go wide open out of the turns. But my Pro 2, it's pretty hard to find that traction, so the setup is really key in that area.
Yeah, well, and, talking about tires, General Tires, I know, and I'm a desert guy, and we've got tire irons and stuff like that, and we do some grooving, but it's not really that in-depth. And then I look at what you guys do in short course. I mean, from any given track, I mean, how much different do you guys groove the tires depending on the track? I mean, there's got to be a lot of theory that goes into there, and how you get them to grab, I mean, how much difference is there from track to track on how you actually groove a particular tire?
Yeah, I got Mo doing my grooving. So for each track, it kind of depends on if the track's gonna blue groove. We theoretically put more rubber on the ground, so we don't groove as big. So when we go to a sandier track, as in Mexico or Glen Helen, where it has a thick cushion, we'll open up the grooves so I can come off exit speed a little bit more. But yeah, it's kind of a happy medium depending on if you want to set your truck up for the wet, where it's going to be throwing a lot of mud, try to get the mud out of the tires, or if you want to set it up for the end of the race where it could blue groove and smaller grooves.
Yeah, it's like, yeah, you have to make a pretty damn good guess, I guess, a lot of the time, right? You know, it's one of those things where you just never know how the track conditions are going to change over the course of a race, and you hope you've got the right setup at the end, right?
Yeah, qualifying's a tough one because you never know if it's going to be a slick track. You can have some mutters on there, or if it's going to be a dry track, you got the all terrains pretty much.
Yeah. Well, you know, and talking about that, I mean, looking at next year, I know, you know, Lucas has done a tremendous job of bringing in some new tracks. I mean, obviously you guys had the one there in Missouri this year that was all new for everybody. Here a year or two ago, they brought in the track down there in Mexico. You know, anything you're looking forward to, you know, next year? I mean, how is it adapting to new tracks? You know, like when you go into Missouri for the very first time. I mean, how is that? You know, it's something all new and you know, everybody's, you know, basically start from scratch.
Yeah, it's Lucas has done a really good job this season. They've been listening to a lot of the drivers' inputs and changing almost when we go to each track, it's a little different. Jumps and lips are a little different, but I like going to new tracks, fully fresh tracks. No one's tested there before, so it's kind of a clean slate where you just kind of show up. You might have your setup right on, or you're struggling. So, I mean, luckily we've gone to every track and kind of have been pretty close. We haven't thrown a ton of setup at it this year just because we've been focused on our Pro Light. But, yeah, I mean, the track in Missouri was for sure one of my favorite tracks. A huge booter in the back and rhythm section. It went to a really open track to a really tight track. So it was kind of cool. Some guys were fast in the open sections, and then some guys were fast in the tight stuff.
Yeah. Well, and I gotta ask, just because I was back there at Crandon over Labor Day weekend, and there was actually a lot of West Coast guys now making the trip out there. They got a ton of money on the line. I mean, is that something when you work on your scheduling for next year? I know with Reno being so close and things like that, it's always made it tough to make the trip back to Crandon. But is that something? I know you've run the Torque Series before, taking a championship there. I mean, is that something on your radar? You'd like to go back and run Crandon at some point?
Yeah. Running that series is a good time, and especially going to Crandon, just a full different crowd than anything we have back here on the West Coast. So going to the East Coast side where the fans are super into it is cool, and that track's tough, man. There's a lot of guys that know that track like the back of their hand, but we drove back there for a full season, so I know that track pretty good, and I mean, it's a blast going back there, but yeah, it's hard. It's hard, though. I mean, you kind of have to put in the risk of what if you crash, and you only got 2 more weeks until your next race, points racing in Lucas. So that's kind of the toss-up and kind of an in-between thought on if you want to go or not.
Yeah, well, and I know, you know, talking with Ryan Beat, who went back there and he actually, you know, won the Cup race for the Pro Lights. You know, it was one of those where it was his first time back there, and Beat's like, I was going back there, and he's like, I had a little bit of arrogance about me. He's like, that track. He's like, everybody talks about turn 1. It can't be that bad. And then, like, literally after the first time, you know, he comes up to me and he's like, dude, he's like, that's no joke. He's like, that turn 1. He's like, that's commitment. And it was funny to hear him say that. You know what I mean? Because he's like, I didn't think much of it. He didn't think it would be that bad. And he's like, then you go and do it. And he's like, dude, he's like, this is a different animal, you know? And like you said, there's a lot of risk with Crandon in the way that track is, you know? There's a lot of risk in tearing up your equipment, you know?
Yeah, especially that's the only track at short course where we have a land rush. So trying to get most of the time 20-plus trucks into to probably a 10 to 15 wide turn sideways, slick. You don't know how slick it is. The water truck goes through there. So, I mean, that for sure gets your adrenaline going sitting on the start line with 20 trucks coming into one turn.
Yeah. Well, you know, let's talk about 2018 for you guys, because it's news to me. You're going back to one truck. You're running Pro 2. You guys have been really, really good with sponsors and bringing in you know, new money, and obviously General Tire, and you've got Bilstein shocks and things like that. But how's that going to work with a Pro 2 next year? I mean, do you know how the sponsorship package is going to look yet? And you know, are we going to see you doing anything other than Lucas, or are you pretty happy with just running the Lucas Series?
Yeah, the Lucas Series has been going pretty good. I'd love to step into some other stuff like ARCA or something, but it's tough racing two things at once is already tough enough, but trying to get budget to race two different series and two fully different cars is kind of a hard thing to do. But sponsorship is we're working at it. I got my PR guy Brett Carpenter working his butt off this year, and hopefully we can get some stuff nailed down pretty soon for next year, and kind of just really focus on one truck and test a lot, and try to come and swing in for 18.
Awesome.
18.
Yeah. Well, I appreciate you taking the time, Jerett, man. Good luck in the finale there in Phoenix. I think I'll be out there doing a bit of radio for General Tire, so we'll definitely have to link up, my friend. But congrats on this year, your run so far, and looking to see how things wrap up.
Yeah, awesome. Thanks for having me, Jim.
All right, thanks a lot, buddy.
See ya.
All right, and that was Jerett Brooks, General Tire driver in the Lucas Oil Off-Road Racing Series. He's running Pro Light, Pro 2. Definitely one of the young up-and-coming drivers you should look out for. He's got I don't know how many championships to his name, but love the way the kid carries himself, and he's got some great backing and some great partners, and around him, and they run a tip-top program there. So looking forward to seeing how things wrap up for him. We are going to wrap this show up after this break here on the Down and Dirty Radio Show, powered by Polaris RZR. You want extreme performance, reliability, and the most fun you can have on four wheels? The Polaris RZR brings it to you. But you don't need to take my word for it. You can take theirs.
I'm Tanner Faust, and I choose the Polaris RZR because it's the most fun you can have with a steering wheel.
What's up? I'm Ronnie Renner, and I choose Polaris RZR because it's the sickest, most reliable side-by-side on the planet.
What's up, everybody? Heavy D from Diesel Brothers. Listen, I'm on Team RZR because it's hands down the best piece of machinery on the planet.
I'm RJ Anderson, and I choose Polaris RZR because it's the most fun, most capable machine.
Action sports stars, TV personalities, and some of the best race car drivers in the world all choose Polaris RZR because it's the ultimate combination of power, suspension, agility, and fun. Find out more information on the web at PolarisRZR.com or follow at Polaris RZR on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter, and use the hashtag RZRLife to share your story. Looking to have some fun on four wheels? Dirtfish Rally School has you covered. Packing as much adrenaline and adventure as you can handle into high-performance all-wheel drive and rear-wheel drive Subaru rally cars is where the fun begins at Dirtfish. Just 30 minutes outside of Seattle and Snoqualmie, you'll get a chance to train up to 3 full days with some of the country's best instructors and be put through the high-octane rush of rally on mud, dirt, and tarmac. Get started today and call 425-888-7715 or visit us online at dirtfish.com and use code 911 for a 15% discount.
Life is all about sound, the sound of sports, the sound at the racetrack, and the sound of your vehicle. Don't drive around listening to this. Drive around listening to the sound of performance. Gibson Performance. Gibson Performance Exhaust is the company who can turn this into this. Remember that life is all about sound, and Gibson Exhaust is the sound of performance. Check out your next catback exhaust system, headers, muffler, or UTV exhaust at GibsonPerformance.com and get more power and more sound.
For 100 years, General Tire has provided tires for your lifestyle, your adventure, your anywhere. Born from competition, the Grabber tire offers the durability and off-road traction you demand in a tire. We put these tires to the test in the harshest off-road racing conditions to give you a tire that will make your anywhere possible. So let us take you on your next big adventure. Tweet us photos at General Tire, hashtag anywhere is possible. Because with General Tire, anywhere is possible.
The Subaru WRX and WRX STI, a 268-horsepower turbocharged Subaru Boxer engine, rockets the WRX around corners and down straightaways. A race-ready 305-horsepower turbocharged Subaru Boxer engine keeps the WRX STI a rally legend. The Subaru WRX and WRX STI, it's not a sibling rivalry, it's a tag team. Get the latest from Subaru Rally Team USA at Subaru.com/rally.
Want the latest from Jim Beaver and Amy Hood? Follow at Jim Beaver 15 and at Amy Hood 71 on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter.
Welcome back to the Down and Dirty Radio Show, powered by Polaris Razor. Jim Beaver here, capping off an amazing show today. Kristen Matlock, Michele Abbate, Joe Duncan. We had Clay Millican. Talk about a fun interview. And Jerett Brooks on the line. Tons of fun, man. Don't forget, we got that Polaris Razor Star Car video from Vegas to Reno and myself, Jolene Van Vute, and Travis Pastrana. That is dropping. It's actually dropped as of now. Go over to my Facebook page. Check it out right now as soon as you get done listening to me anyways. And watch it, like it, share it, and tell me what you guys think. Love to have your comments on that. That's there on my Facebook. It's at JimBeaver15, and you can follow me there on Facebook as well as Instagram and Twitter at that. Amy is at AmyHood71. Don't forget to go over to iTunes, subscribe to the Down and Dirty Radio Show, and subscribe to my other show, Project Action. You can definitely leave some ratings and reviews. I'd appreciate it. And looking for a coupon code for Dirtfish Rally School. Don't forget, use that coupon code JBDirtfish. That'll give you 15% off any class at Dirtfish Rally School. Big thank you to Polaris Razor, General Tire, Subaru, Casey Highlights, Gibson, Dirtfish, Impact, OTSFF, Optimus Starters, Terracross, and the Blue Water Resort and Casino. Upcoming events, man, we got the GRC finale there in SoCal. We got Formula Drift at Irwindale. We got Red Bull Straight Rhythm. We got Monster Energy Cup. We got the Terracross finale, the Lucas Oil finale. We got tons and tons of racing action to cover the next couple of weeks, so hang tight. It's going to be one hell of a ride here on the Down and Dirty Radio Show, powered by Polaris Razor. Be safe. As always, game on.